Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayah Fadawadah, the elect house of David, that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. This evening's lesson is entitled, A Cold Spirit is amongst this society, the spirit of death. Okay? And there is a cold spirit that is looming about, okay? In fact, I'm going to go ahead and let me get the script here. But before I read it, excuse me, I'm going to go into the word cold. And if you can see it on the screen here, the word cold. All right, let me zoom in a bit more here. Okay, the word cold. Now, it says right here, the sense of unmoved by strong feeling. Let's see here. That's not what I'm looking for here. Let's see here. Cold-blooded. Here we go. 1590s. Of persons without emotion, wanting usual sympathies, unfeeling of actions. Okay? And here's another one. Cold shoulder. Icy reception, studied neglect or indifference. Okay? So, go on even further here. All right, that's it on that, but excuse me. All right, so cold-hearted, wanting sympathy, unkind, cruel. All right, so let's go and get into the script here. This is going to be the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 12. And it says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. All right, now if you go into the etymology, well, if you go into the blue letter, I should say, the blue letter for the word cold is sukos, but it's spelt like the word psycho. So let's get the word psycho here. Psycho, an adjective. Psycho. The word goes into a word-forming element meaning mind, mental, spirit. Now, from the Greek combining form of psyche, the soul, the mind, the spirit, life, one's life. Okay, but let's see here if I can find let's go back up. Let's look for this word psychopathic. I said, the Greek psyche meaning mind and pathos meaning suffering. So mind suffering or suffering of the mind. Okay, so excuse me. So from the Greek pathos, suffering, feeling, emotion, calamity. Okay, penthos, grief and sorrow. And the psyche is this animating spirit, the human spirit or mind. Alright, so let's see here. Let me just type in the word path here. Psychopath. Now it says, a morally irresponsible person considered as mentally deranged, one who obeys his impulses regardless of social codes. Okay? So let's see. So let's look up the word empath, a person of high degree with empathic abilities. So someone who's emotional. This is sociopath, but this is also on the model of psychopath, and it says one having a violent antisocial excuse me. One having a violent antisocial pattern of behavior or mental attitude. And also this goes into rebel, one who refuses obedience to a superior or controlling power or principle. One who resists an established government, person who renounces and makes war on his country or political motives. For political motives. So, like I said, excuse me, psychopathology, the science of mental disorders, a mentally deranged state or condition. Psychopathy, derangement of the mental functions. Okay, so I'm gonna read Matthew chapter 24, verse 12 again. Excuse me. And it says, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So as iniquity continues to increase, as you can see what's going on in the world, the love of many shall wax cold. So Pete and I looked up the other definitions for psycho or psychopath. A lack of empathy, disregard for emotions or well-being. Okay, so think about it. In these last days, as things keep getting more and more intense with mass shootings, stabbings, robbery, crime rates going up, excuse me, people losing their jobs, can't afford to pay rent, losing their jobs. What do you think's going to happen when as things keep getting harder and harder and people just can't take it no more? What do you think they're going to resort to? Okay? It's going to put them in that state of mind of basically not giving a fuck anymore. And what do you think's going to happen when that happens? All right, let's get the book of 2nd Esdras to chapter 15. Second Esdras 15, verse 5. And it says, Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Verse 6, For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Alright, so the Lord's going to bring the sword, which is Esau Edom, because Esau Edom is the sword on the left-hand side of the Most High. Famine. Okay, a shortage, excuse me, a shortage of supplies, especially food and water. So people are going to hunger. And one of the most dangerous people you can encounter or deal with is somebody who is hungry. Death. And there's going to be death, whether it be by famine, the sword, or etc. However, Yahweh Shemel wants to take these people out. Okay? And destruction. Verse 6, For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth. Yeah. Job 9 and 24, right? The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And we all know who the wicked is. I'm going to drop down to verse 19. And it says, A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. Okay? When things have reached a point where people can't take it anymore, they're going to snap. I mean, right now we're on a light level right now. This is nothing but a light affliction, roughly paraphrasing. What we're going through right now is nothing compared to what's coming. So a man shall have no pity on his neighbor. Pity, meaning no sympathy, no mercy, not going to feel for them. You're going to have people begging and pleading for their life, while their aggressors, their attackers, are not going to give them any mercy or let them go. Okay? Destroy their houses with the sword, with the modern day weapon, the gun, or an actual sword or melee weapon or whatever. And think about that, man. And spoil their goods. Take all their stuff. Take whatever they can get from that person. Food, water, supplies, whatever. All these people that are in the know, knowing that this place is falling apart, these preppers, they're going to be one of the first targets. Because they put themselves out there willingly to warn people of what's coming and what's going on. Okay? Because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. Lack of bread. Lack of food. And great tribulation. Okay? And this is going to be a great tribulation. Jacob's trouble is going to be is going to be that great tribulation. That is where we are going to be ultimately tested. When that spirit of death, that cold spirit, completely takes over this land. Okay? We're going to have to maintain our wits about us. And we cannot trust nobody except for the brotherhood, those that are true and sincere all the way to the end. But other than that, you can't trust nobody else. Okay, verse 20. It says, Behold, saith the Most High, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Lebanus, to turn themselves against one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them. 21. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So, those that have oppressed us for so many years, kicked us down in the dirt, treated us like complete and utter shit, the Lord is going to give them payback. Okay? The Lord is going to make them suffer. They're going to know what it feels like to be treated like shit. Okay, now we're going to go to it's going to be the book of Hebrews. It's going to be Hebrews. Chapter 10. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 22. And it says, "Let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience, and our bodies washed with pure water." And that pure water is talking about this truth. Okay? So we have to draw near our mind, bring our minds to the full assurance of faith. Meaning you have to be rooted in this thing 100% when all hell breaks loose, man. Because if not, you're gonna bug out. You're gonna be like the rest of these people out here, lost in the sauce. Yet having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience, okay? Which means during that time, man, you gotta have a clear conscience, okay? You cannot become carnally minded. You have to remain spiritual at all times. While everyone else is just turning into complete animals, beasts. Okay? Verse 23, and it says, "Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering. For he is faithful that promised." So, no matter how hard or how scary or how dicey things get, man, you got to remember why the Lord called you into this. Because this is ultimately a test for all of us individually. But together as a whole, this is, Jacob's trouble is the final test. It's what we've been going through all this, this diligence, fasting and praying for. To become rooted, to become built up in this. Verse 24, "And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works." 25, "Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more, as ye see the day approaching." Okay? So, we have to take each other into consideration, because in all truth and sincerity, ultimately, first and foremost, Yahweh Shemi Shai is your ultimate guide, but, through these troubling times to come, you have the brotherhood. And we all have to tighten up, build each other up, help each other out. Because we're coming into those times where, the Lord's going to see what kind of person you really are, see what you're really all about. And as that day's approaching, man, you gotta be prepared already for it. You gotta maintain that righteous and spiritual manner about yourself, even in a time of chaos. Verse 26. It says, "Not forsaking the assembling." Verse 26, "For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins." 27, "But a certain fearful looking for of judgment, and fiery indignation which shall devour the adversaries." So, if you willfully go off while being in this, you're not going to have no excuse in that day, because you should have known better than to do whatever it was that you did that made you go off. Okay? Coming into this, Yahweh B'Shem Shai requires you to not just know better, but to do better. Okay? So in that day, he may have mercy on you as long as you know better and you willingly know better and do better. Okay. Salakia, give me a second. Excuse me. Try to blow my nose. But this is Hebrews chapter 3, verse 7. And it says, "Wherefore, as the Holy Spirit saith, today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation in the day of temptation in the wilderness." Okay? And Jacob's trouble is going to be not only that great tribulation, but it's also going to be that great temptation. Because you cannot, you can't afford to make any mistakes. Okay? You really can't. Just the slightest slip up and that's it. That's your ass. So harden not your hearts. Don't be, don't be stupid. Don't be stiff-necked to the truth, man. Humble yourself, accept correction, and improve. Okay? As a brotherhood, this is a team effort. It really is. Okay? Now, let me get verse 9, and it says, when your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my works 40 years, talking about back in the desert, when he saved us out of Egypt. Verse 10, "Wherefore I was grieved with that generation, and said, they do always err in their hearts, and they have not known my ways." Verse 11, "So I swear in my wrath, they shall not enter into my rest." Excuse me. Okay, so it says here, verse 12, "Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living God, from the living power. But exhort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin." Okay? So, take heed. Take heed, lest there be any of you that have an evil heart of unbelief. Okay? In the times that we're in right now, you cannot afford, you have to be in this all the way. Okay? There's no one foot in, 1 foot forward, and 1 foot back. You can't be double-minded right now. The book of James, chapter 1, verse 8, "A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways." So it's either you're in this or you're out. There's no in between. So you have to make a stand now. Okay? This is going to be 1 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. First Peter 5 and 8, and it says, "Be sober and be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." Okay? So this is not a time where you can be, lackadaisical, drunk, and not paying attention. Because, Esau, Edom, yes, that's our number one enemy, our main adversary, but you have to realize that there's other devils out there, these other nations, and that includes the 2/3 of our own people. They're watching us. They're hearing us. So we have to be on our A game. Okay, we cannot afford to slip. We cannot afford to give them an opportunity to capitalize on us. Excuse me. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 8, and it says, "For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. And there is a friend who, being turned to enmity," another word for enmity is hatred, and strife, strife will discover thy reproach. Verse 10, again, "Some friend is a companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants." 12, "If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face." Okay? So in the day of prosperity, some people, they'll be cool with you for their own motives, because they're trying to get something out of you, or they're just trying to get you to drop their guard so they can have that power over you once you've given them your trust. Okay? You cannot be so easily trusting of people, because nowadays people are just looking. As an old friend of mine once said, there's only two types of people in this world. There's our givers and there's our takers. Givers and takers. Okay? The takers are those people that you want to avoid at all costs. The givers are those that... Excuse me. I'm blowing my nose. The givers are those that are willing to go out of their way to help somebody. But there's nothing wrong with helping people. It's just that you don't overdo it. And just remember, you got to think about yourself first before you help out anybody else. Okay? Because some people can be just a complete hindrance to you. Okay? And we can't afford anybody slowing us down in this. That may seem cold-hearted, but, the Lord's going to put a cold spirit on his elect anyway. To not give a shit about these people. To let them face their judgment, rightfully so. Okay? And, like I said earlier, a friend will not abide in the day of thy trouble, He'll fuck you over and let you suffer. And he won't care. As long as he gets what he wants, that's all that matters to him. It doesn't matter what happens to you. And that's part of being cold. Okay? You can look up traits of psychotic behavior on your own time. Screwing people over, not caring for other people's well-being, that's a form of psychotic behavior. Not sharing your valuable goods with others when they need something and just letting them suffer, that's a form of psychotic behavior. Taking from others and not sparing them, that's psychotic behavior. That's cold. You can't afford to be nice to people. Not in this time, you can't. At this point, you got to learn to put your foot down and let people know where you stand. Okay? Verse 13, and it says, separate thy, this is Ecclesiasticus 6 and 13. "Separate thyself from thine enemies, and take heed of thy friends." Verse 14, "A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure." 15, "Nothing doeth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable." 16, "A faithful friend is the medicine of life." excuse me, and a faithful friend. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. Okay? Okay, so having a faithful friend, man, a friend that, that's willing to give you that one good kick in the ass to get your, to get your mind straight, or that friend that's not afraid to tell you like it is, so that you can get right and do better, and that's going to have your back regardless of, whether you think this person is an asshole or not, but they're just really looking out for you. That's how you know that you have someone that actually gives a shit about you. Okay? and another roughly paraphrasing, open rebuke is better than secret love. Okay? Someone that's telling you that you're in the wrong and they correct you on it, that's love, man. Verse 17. And it says, whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright, for as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. So, if you do things that are right in the sight of the Lord, he will find you a true friend. He will he will give you a true friend. Okay? And being in this truth, the brotherhood, we to each other, we are true friends. And friends of the power. Friends of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? If we, treat other people how you treat Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, with utter respect and humility, and in the same you shall receive. Let me get Sirach 10 and 12 here. Sirach chapter 10 verse 12, and it says, Salakia, not 10 and 12, 12 and 10, Salakia, 12 and 10, Sirach 12 and 10. So here we go. Sirach 12 and 10, and it says, never trust thine enemy, for like iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Okay? And ultimately this is talking about Esau, Edom, but this also goes into the other nations as well as the 2/3. Because the 2/3, they are our enemy. Because they choose not to repent and return back unto the power that made them. So, you have to, you really, like I said, when that time comes, man, you have to really, you should be already rooted into this before Jacob's trouble goes into full effect. Okay, and I'm going to close out with this here. This is going to be Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 17, verse 17. And it says, a friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Okay, once again, a friend is only a friend for a time. But as soon as things start getting real, that person that you thought was your friend, they abandon you. But like I said, a brother is born for adversity. So someone who saves your ass, tells you like it is, you know, and is trying to make you better in the midst of it, you know, that's when you have someone who's real. Someone who's not going to sugarcoat things for you or lie to you. Okay? You know, once that cold spirit sets in, man, you have to understand with a spiritual mind that if you come across someone who's an asshole, but they're looking up for you, you have to remember, it's Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai using this person to make sure nothing fucked up happens to you. You know? So you have to understand, you know, people, like I said, you know, there's a cold spirit looming. And once that cold spirit fully takes over, you know, that's it. It's game time. All right? So I hope that this was an edifying lesson. So once again, it was the love of many shall wax cold, man. You know, more and more people are going to exhibit psychotic behavior. All right? All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Ba'ath Dawada, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Ababa Shalom, Barakatah.